have the advantage here, men. These dogs and their pretty little masters will not hold against us. They are but a pale reflection of our great strength, and we will soon put them to flight. Make ready! Come on, you sons of war!
The First Battle of Tarain was fought in 1191 between the Ghurids, a Turkish tribe, led by Muhammad Ghori, and the Rajputs, led by Prithviraj Chauhan and his allies. The battle took place near Tarain, modern Taraori in Haryana, India. The Ghurid side's Taj-ul-Ma'asir of Hasan Nizami and the Kahamana side's Prithviraj Vijaya of Jayanaka are two contemporary sources for the conflict. The Ghazni dynasty fell during the 12th century. Soon after, various clans engaged in a conflict over control of the realm. Of them, the Ghurid Empire was the tribe that prevailed and had effectively taken Ghazni, the former capital, by 1149. Muhammad Ghori and Ghiyas al-Din, two brothers, were in charge of the kingdom. The majority of what is now Afghanistan, Iran and Pakistan were encompassed in an expansion drive they carried out. After this, the brothers focused on extending their dominance into India and the East. The northern region of India was a collection of fragile states at the time. The dominant dynasties were the Rajput Kahamanas of Prithviraj Chauhan, who controlled Ajmer and Delhi. The Chalukyas of Gujarat, who held authority in the Gujarat region, and Jikandra's Gahadavila dynasty, which ruled Kannauj. Muhammad Ghori marched his troops to the Chalukya Empire in 1178 unafraid. He did this because the last remaining Ghaznavids in Lahore and Multan were blocking the straight road to Delhi. The Chalukya army routed the Ghurid army, forcing it to flee after suffering severe losses. Muhammad Ghori, who was still unfazed by losses, gathered his forces and destroyed the remaining Ghaznavid survivors when he captured Lahore in 1186. Muhammad Ghori now had a clear path to assault the kingdom of Prithviraj Chauhan. In an effort to encourage Prithviraj to reach a peaceful resolution, Muhammad Ghori dispatched his representative, Chief Judge Kaiwamul Mulk Ruknuddin Hamza, to the Indian king's court. The messenger was described as a prominent dignitary in Taj-ul-Ma'asir, a history written by Muslim author Hasan Nizami, who delivered Muhammad Ghori's message to Prithviraj in a refined and gracious way, and with eloquent words. Muhammad Ghori is portrayed in the Kahamana-sponsored book Prithviraj Vijaya as a evil, beef-eating devil. The book also depicts the envoy as a dreadful man whose ghastly white appearance made him seem to have a skin infection and whose voice was like the cry of wild birds. According to Hasan Nizami, Prithviraj declined to accept the Ghurid envoy's conditions, which included converting to Islam and submitting to the Ghurid suzerainty. The Kahamana kingdom was later invaded by Muhammad Ghori. The First Battle of Tarain may have been the result of a Ghurid campaign that began in 1190, although the actual conflict was most likely fought in the winter of 1191 AD. Muhammad Ghori's forces took the Tabarhinda fort, perhaps present-day Bathinda, sometime before 1191, which was apparently under Kahamana authority. According to Sir Hindi, Prithviraj marched against the Ghurid army with soldiers, cavalry, and an elephant troop sometime around 1191. When Prithviraj's army approached Tabarhinda, Muhammad Ghori was preparing to leave. He marched against Prithviraj, and the two armies met at Tarain. The opposing armies' battle formations stood in sharp contrast. The Ghurid selected a standard combat structure with 3 wings, a small rear guard, and a center phalanx under the leadership of Muhammad Ghori. The Rajputs set up their cavalry in the wings and their infantry in the center, supported by war elephants. As a result, both armies' wings were comparable to one another. The fight was started by the Ghurid cavalry shooting arrows at the enemy's center. Prithviraj Chauhan swiftly retaliated with an all-out assault that dispersed the Ghurid vanguard. The Ghurid army was fully surrounded as the Rajputs counterattacked from three directions, engaging them in ferocious hand-to-hand sword fights, which were the Rajput specialty. To their credit, the Ghurid army fought well against waves of troops, but the Rajput cavalry soon began to overwhelm the Ghurid flank. Muhammad Ghori saw how advantageous close combat was for the Rajputs.
up and are running for their lives!
Finally, unable to withstand the attack on their flank, Muhammad's soldiers' wings split from their lines and fled. But Muhammad Ghori persisted in gathering his troops to surround him in the middle. Muhammad Ghori chose to assault the Rajput vanguard, which was being commanded by Govind Rai, against all military reasoning. This led to a one-on-one fight about 3 kilometers from Tarain, and Muhammad Ghori was gravely wounded. According to Minhaj, Muhammad Ghori, who was mounted on a horse, struck Govind Rai in the mouth with a spear, destroying 2 of his teeth. Muhammad Ghori's upper arm was seriously wounded when Govind Rai retaliated with a javelin. According to the reports, a young Khalji horseman guided him away from the combat area, else he may have died. The Ghurid army finally fell out of line and fled as they saw their sultan leave the battleground. The Rajput horses were unable to catch up to the Ghurid cavalry's faster Central Asian horse breeds despite Prithviraj Chauhan's orders to pursue them. The Rajput army abandoned the chase and instead lay siege to the Tabarhinda fort, which was defended by a stay-behind garrison of 2,000 Ghurid warriors who held off the Rajputs. Prithviraj Chauhan, on the other hand, was successful in recapturing the fort 13 months later. The Ghurid Sultanate suffered a resounding defeat in the conflict. Muhammad Ghori was able to recoup his soldiers, and rebuild his army during the 13-month siege of Tabarhinda fort. The Ghurid forays into India were not done, as Muhammad Ghori would return later, having learnt his opponent's strengths and weaknesses and being wary of disregarding his opponents in combat.